Welcome to View from the Top of the Goalpost. We're back after a 1 week vacation for one of us. The other one was here, but too lazy to put out a podcast. I am Diesel, joining you from Diesel's Dapper Dungeon of Delight. I am joined by the not as tan lobster face as I thought he would be, Dadalac, Chad.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I got back from Jamaica, had myself one hell of a time. It was one, what would say? Oh, I was really hoping I get my party lights to go off right away, but they wouldn't. It was a party!
Wow.
I'm sorry, folks. I had a good time in Jamaica. Sorry we took another week off, but yes, I am Chad here in the cave, obviously. And I'm excited to talk some football.
We should do a quick recap. We still made picks last week. We won't go through them because that would take like a whole nother show. But so we do have records. Chad had a good week. He went 12-2, and I told him last week when he made his picks that he was making some bad picks. He didn't watch the games the week before because he was on vacation. So I'm like, you're making some bad picks with not seeing these games, and I guess I was wrong. I mean, I went 9-5, which is respectable. But Chad, that's a great week. So
it's 9-5 is respectable, but it sure as heck ain't no 12-2.
No, you got 3 games on me this week. So our new records: I'm in the lead, 88-60, and Chad is 86-62. And I also have winning percentages, which when they got calculated, I was kind of sad by the numbers because I'm only at a 595. And you're at a 581. So we are both technically failing.
Yep.
We're real close to getting a D-.
Hey, a couple more good weeks in our, we could be passing.
Actually, technically, I mean, you round up 595, round up to 60, so I might, whatever.
If your professor is feeling generous, yes, you could be passing this course. I'm failing.
28 games over 500 is actually pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with. Last week wasn't so great for me, but anyways, I'm excited to pick some games. We got a full slate this week, all 16 games. We got 3 Thursday games because of Thanksgiving, the best holiday of the year, and the NFL definitely helps with that. We should start picking. You ready to go?
Oh yeah, and it might be the greatest slate of Thursday or Thanksgiving games that we have gotten in many, many moons. I can't remember a better 3-game slate than we have this Thursday for Thanksgiving. I'm excited.
In recent memory, I don't remember a better Thursday since like the butt fumble year.
Yeah, butt fumble, classic. Good old Mark Sanchez.
Can't believe that happened on Thanksgiving. But we're starting off with the first game. It's always the first game on Thanksgiving in Detroit. We have the Buffalo Bills, this time playing away in Detroit at the Detroit Lions. Buffalo is 7-3, and the Lions are 4-6 on a 3-game winning streak. Buffalo is favored by 10 here. But is there any like Thanksgiving holiday magic in the Lions? What do you think?
I think that line is out of control. 10, it's gone up since I looked at it because I got the Lions plus 9.5, and I'm going to tell you right now, golden lock of the week, folks. The Lions play well on Thanksgiving. They're at home. I'm taking those 9.5 points. So golden lock of the week right there. But I think the Bills can win this game. I don't think they win it pleasantly or cleanly. I think this is a dogfight. And how weird is it that the Buffalo gets to play 2 games in Detroit in a row? Like, that's so weird.
Yeah, like last week was almost practice for them.
I'm taking Buffalo, though.
I'm very, very tempted to take Detroit. Coming off of a 3-game winning streak, they're finally starting to look better. All they needed to do apparently was just trade away Hawkinson. Once they traded that guy away, they're 3-0. Yeah. And he made the claim when he got traded to the Vikings. Finally, he's on a team that will win some games. Well, his old team hasn't lost since he's left. So I'm really, really, really tempted. But then I remember how bad Detroit's defense is and how good Buffalo Bills are on offense and how good they are on defense. I don't know. I'm going with Buffalo. I'm going with my head. My heart says Detroit. I'm going to root for Detroit in this game.
Oh yeah, I'm rooting for
But
Detroit as well. I also love the fact that Hutchinson, is that how you say his last name? Their first round draft pick,
yeah,
has 2
Hutchinson.
interceptions already on the year. Like, who is he? The next J.J. Watt? Like, what are you gonna go crazy?
Number 2 overall pick. I mean, I always like the story where a guy gets drafted in the state he's from. He went to Michigan. Like, it's a good story. Like, it's always fun. So, moving on to the next game, Thursday at 3:30, we have the New York Giants traveling to the Dallas Cowboys. Both teams are 7-3, a battle for second place in this division. Division is a dogfight. I'm officially saying it's a dogfight. That's what I wanted. We're in week 12. I think we can call it a dogfight.
Yeah. The commies are not going away either. It is a full-on dogfight.
I told you there's something special about the Commanders. They're not great, but like they're not bad. I don't know. This game is really hard to tell because the Giants just laid an egg, and then Dallas just went into Minnesota and just like tore them apart piece by piece. Like everything that we've been talking about, how they're a sham, they just like basically
proved every point that we had tried to make.
I don't even know how to describe what happened in that game. And I was watching Red Zone, and like every 2 seconds, Dallas scored a touchdown. Dallas scored another touchdown. It just, that game was nuts. I couldn't I picked Minnesota last week because they just went into Buffalo and beat the Bills. Dallas just lost to Green Bay. It just, I mean, I should have known it was going to go the other way, but not 40-3. Like, who would have ever predicted that? Not me.
No, definitely not.
Don't know. I think the Giants are good. I think Dallas is good. I don't know who to pick in this game, honestly. Who do you got?
Oh, man, I don't know, because I put a lot of faith in the Giants the first time they played the Cowboys.
Dallas is favored by 8, by the way.
Yeah, these lines for Thanksgiving are wild. I'm going to tell you right now, I've looked at the lines for all the games for Sunday as well. I hate Sunday. I don't know what I'm going to bet on Sunday. I'm betting every game here on Thursday night because, once again, I'm taking the points. This is an NFC East game. NFC East games are usually field goal games. I'm taking the points on the Giants, and I really want to take the Giants. I want to take the Giants to win outright. I want them to come back after getting their butts kicked by Dallas the first time. With Cooper Rush at quarterback, you know what? F it. I'm taking the Giants. I'm gonna go with the G-men, and I'm not gonna like it, but I'm gonna take the G-men.
Man, I really want to take the Giants as well. It's the same thing. This one is a coin flip. Since it's a coin flip, I'm gonna go with Dallas. But if I were betting on this game, I would also take the Giants and the points. Because this game is gonna come down to a last-second field goal. It's an NFC East battle. It's a dogfight. That's the way it's gonna go.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it. Let's do it.
I will say this right now. I unfortunately, because of his track record, I could see Mike McCarthy blowing this game for the Dallas Cowboys. It is a nationally televised game. It's all that people will be watching. And it seems whenever the brightest lights are on McCarthy is when his bonehead mistakes come out. So,
I mean, this is technically the Odell Beckham Jr. Bowl because he is what all reports say he's narrowed it down between the Giants and the Cowboys, and he's meeting with each team apparently after this game. So whoever wins this game might get Odell.
Oh man, I would love to see Odell back in the Giants blue. I hate the Giants. As a Patriots fan, I despise the Giants more than I hate most other teams because of what they've done to us. But they're the scrappy underdog right now, and I love me a scrappy underdog. And Odell back there, that was still that one-handed catch. I still think back to just going how great it was and how much it changed everything in the NFL.
Imagine if Dallas wouldn't have traded away Amari Cooper. If he was still with them, what were they thinking?
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know what they got for compensation off the top of my head. I'm assuming it's draft pick. I don't know who they drafted, but you got to assume that Amari Cooper on your offense is better than what you drafted this for this season at least.
Yeah.
Like they're Super Bowl contenders. I think that was a boneheaded move, and that just it's Jerry Jones for you.
Yeah. Maybe Amari Cooper just wanted out. That's the only because
I mean, I think that's part of what it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, make that guy happy because that guy's good. The Browns are not utilizing him to his fullest ability. I think that hopefully he gets out of there pretty soon too. Who knows? But maybe with the new quarterback coming in next week, who knows?
We'll see.
Yeah, well, we're moving on to the final game on Thanksgiving. It's Thursday Night Football. It is, I believe, at like 7:20 or something like that. I've got to update the time on here, so whatever.
Whatevs. You have a TV guide. You have a cell phone. You can look up the time, folks.
We have the New England Patriots, who are 6-4, traveling to a team that just got dismantled by the Cowboys, the 8-2 Minnesota Vikings. Surprisingly, the Vikings are only 3.5-point favorites, but this is a primetime game, and we all know Kirk Cousins primetime games. Like I joked with you on Sunday that if the Cowboys and the Vikings played at noon, Vikings would have won that game.
Probably.
Because Kirk Cousins, he can win games on Sunday at noon, but that's about the only time he can. I don't know. This seems like too good to be true for New England.
It really does.
Like after the Vikings just lost 40-3, if they come out and they lose to New England, like I'm gonna be happy because then we were right all this time that they are shams. But I mean, not saying that New England's a bad team or anything. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying like the Vikings aren't as good as their record is, and they are who we thought they were, just like Denny Green once said.
There you go.
I'm gonna go with the Vikings just because like they should have lost to the Bills. They almost lost to the Bills, and I think because of me picking the Vikings was why they almost lost to the Bills. I picked the Vikings last week, and they got murdered by the Cowboys. Picking the Vikings this week and rooting for New England to beat them again.
I love your style. I'm taking New England to win this game. No way I'm picking the Vikings. But just quick sidebar here. Ding. Can we be done with Mac Jones? Please, Bill? Bill? The offense, he can't throw the ball more than 5 yards down the field. Every pass that Mac Jones throws is within 10 yards of the offensive line. And don't get me wrong, we can win games like that, but we're not going to win championships. Give me the zap attack. The offense looks leagues better when he's in there, all right? All Mac Jones can do is throw little outlet passes to Stevenson. And don't get me wrong, great for my fantasy team because I have him on multiple of them. But we need a little bit more than that, all right? Like, the offense was cooking when Zappy was in there. And now with Mac Jones, we're sputtering. We needed a last-second punt return to beat the Jets. Don't get me wrong, Jets are a good team and everything, but we own the Jets. It shouldn't have come down to that, and it's Zappy time. We've done the Mac Jones experiment. He's a great kid. He's a great guy. I know we wasted a very high draft pick on him. Doesn't matter. It's Zap attack time.
I mean, I'm all for Zappy. Like I've said it before. I don't know why he wasn't put in the game. Well, I mean, I can understand why. It was not like they're getting blown out, but like, yeah, their offense was doing nothing. And I forget like the stat of like how many yards they had in the second half, which was like almost like a record low or something like that. I can't remember exactly. It was bad.
It was.
And yeah, I mean the Jets didn't look that much better on offense, but
Zach Wilson is a piece of garbage apparently, and I don't know if he'll be starting this week. But we'll get to the Jets later.
Yeah. Well, right now we're getting to the first game at the noon slate on Sunday, and that is Tampa Bay at Cleveland. Tampa Bay is 5-5 and lead their division, and Cleveland is 3-7 and don't. They
And don't.
Tampa Bay is favored by 3 in this game. And interesting stat that I heard was since Tom Brady's filed for divorce, they haven't lost. Tampa Bay hasn't lost.
Yeah.
And I want to backtrack 1 minute to the Minnesota thing. I heard an interesting stat yesterday. Through 11 games, Minnesota is the only 8-2 team to have a negative point differential in NFL history.
That is a wild thing. And I the minute you started saying the stat about Minnesota, I was like, I bet it's about point differential because they guys got blown out so poor or so badly, and most of the games they've won have been by such a close margin.
That's crazy. They're 8-2 and they have a negative point differential. But I
That's
mean,
what we
good
like to
teams win
call
games, like I said.
a
But
sham, folks.
I mean, this is the same team as last year, but they were on the other side of that. So they're just getting their luck this year. But anyways, talking about Tampa Bay and Cleveland. Cleveland should be better than 3-7. I thought for sure, like by the time they got Deshaun Watson back, they would at least be 500. But I mean, they've lost a lot of close games in some dumb ways too. But I don't know. I mean, I don't see them winning this game. It's Jacoby Brissett's last start of the season. I mean, barring Deshaun Watson not sucking or getting hurt or something like that. I mean, I don't foresee Jacoby Brissett playing another, I mean, maybe another snap, but not another start. I don't know. Tampa Bay is coming off a bye after winning in Munich. I got Tampa Bay.
Yeah, for everything that you've just said, I'm all over Tampa Bay on this game. I think that Tampa Bay isn't the best defense this year. They're not as good as they have been, but they shut down the run. You can't run against Tampa Bay, and right now, I don't think that Amari Cooper by himself can beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I think Tom Brady is, once again, one of the pettiest people on the entire planet, a la Michael Jordan. Everyone was just talking so much shit about him, ragging on his divorce, telling him this, you can't play football anymore, you're old, you're washed up, and I think he's, for this second half of this season, is going to once again come out like he did after Deflategate and just put the boots to people. I got Tampa Bay winning this game going away. I don't think it's close.
Now, moving on to the next game at noon on Sunday. We have the 6-4 Cincinnati Bengals traveling to the Minnesota Vikings of the AFC, the 7-3 Tennessee Titans. Cincinnati is favored by 1.5. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm taking Cincinnati, and I'll tell you why I'm taking Cincinnati. Because watching Tennessee play the Packers last week, a good team would have won that game against Tennessee all day long. Tennessee didn't have much to show, and they also, Derrick Henry was shut down for the most part by the Packers. He got 2 touchdowns, but he was held under 100 yards. And with the possibility of Jamar Chase starting on Sunday, I don't see Cincinnati losing. Plus, with Boyd and Higgins lighting it up while Chase has been gone. I mean, Cincinnati does have their issues, but they're better than Tennessee, and that's why I got Cincinnati.
Yeah, I 100%. Once again, I hate to do it, but I agree completely with everything you are saying right there. I've been calling Tennessee a sham all year. I did pick them to beat the Packers, but that was just because it was a coin flip game, and I knew Diesel would pick the Packers, and I could, gain a game if Tennessee won, which they did.
He did.
But no, I don't see Tennessee pulling a rabbit out of the hat again in this game. Even if Joe Mixon doesn't play, even if Jamar Chase doesn't play, I don't care. That Bengals offense is leagues better than that Tennessee defense. And the Packers offense, which can't do much against many people unless they're Dallas, because Aaron Rodgers should just be called Marb Reds at this point, because he's a cowboy killer. Yeah, got it in there. But Cincinnati all the way. And also, silver lock of the week, folks. I don't care if the line goes up to 3.5. I will take the Bengals to win by at least a touchdown in this game. So, silver lock of the week, take the Bengals against Tennessee.
All right. Next game at noon is the 8-1 Houston Texans at the 7-3 Miami Dolphins. Miami is favored by 12, and if they don't win by 2 touchdowns, I would be shocked. Got Miami by a lot.
Yeah, Miami's coming off their bye. I don't understand how Davis Mills can be so bad. He shows flashes of being decent, and then every time they show him, he's throwing a pick six. Like, he has to lead the league in pick sixes by a long shot, because he throws one every time the red zone flashes to him. And they can't even get David Pierce involved anymore. So, yeah, Miami by a mile. If the Texans win this game, this would be the biggest shocker of the year, I feel like.
I think it's hilarious that their only win is against the Raiders. I just find it hilarious. The Raiders are a joke this year. Like, the Raiders are literally hysterical. Like, watching them play make me laugh, and the way, and we'll get to it, but the way they won on Sunday, hilarious. I was laughing at the end of that game. I picked against them, and I'm like, I shouldn't have. Anyways, moving on to the next game at noon. We have Chicago Bears 3-8 at the 6-4 New York Jets. We don't know if Justin Fields is going to play. There was rumors that he had a separated shoulder. There was rumors that just sprained. Like, he's day-to-day basically is what they're saying. So, and really, it's a shoulder. He's a running quarterback. I mean, that's what they've been doing with him lately, even though he did say last week he had heavy legs and still rushed for 100 and whatever yards. I don't know. I'm going to go with the Jets just because Chicago's so beat up. I don't know. Chicago, they will be good next year. I guarantee it. They will be good next year. They have draft picks. They have money. They'll be good next year. But this year, they're going to suck, and they're going to get a good draft pick, and which is going to make them really good next year. I'm going with the Jets in this game.
Yes. One of my 2 losses from last week was because I keep picking the Bears because I believe that they will be good. But yeah, I'm agreeing with you on this one. I can't pick the Bears in this game because I watched the second half of that Bears game last week against Atlanta. And that first half, Justin Fields was running all over the field. They couldn't stop him. That second half, he was dead. He looked slow in the pocket, and he couldn't do diddly shit. And if he is actually as injured as he seems to be, and there's any problems with his shoulder, I just don't think the Bears at this moment have enough to actually win games. But yeah, you're right. Next year, the Bears are going to be terrifying. They get a good left tackle in there, and they get another couple pieces on offense. Like, whoo! That offense is going to be scary. But yeah, I got whoever the Bears are playing. I am picking against them.
Yeah, the Bears have a lot of cap space next season too, so yeah, the Bears are going to be scary. So the Vikings are, I feel like the Vikings are like, they're past their prime in a weird way of saying it. I mean, the Packers, who knows? They could be good next year. They could be abysmal. You don't know with the Packers, but the Bears, early prediction for next year, they're winning the NFC North. Just saying.
And I do believe the Jets deserve to get a win in this game against the Bears because after that loss last week, I don't care if it's Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, or Mike White starting. I don't care which of the 3 quarterbacks is going to start. I think that Jets defense is going to come out swinging, and they are going to be trying to go right for that shoulder, just like the Atlanta Falcons did, because there was a lot of late hits in that game as well that weren't called, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, well, the next game at noon on Sunday is the 5-6 Atlanta Falcons traveling to the 6-5 Washington Commanders.
Ooh.
Commanders are favored by 3. And I saw this game on the schedule and I'm like, this one excites me because we were texting, every single Atlanta game seems to be really exciting, except for the Thursday night game a couple weeks ago. And then Washington lately with Heineke, it's just been really exciting. And I'm going with Washington in this game. I think right now they have the hot hand. They're starting to figure things out. They wasted draft picks when trading for Carson Wentz when they had a perfectly good Heineke that they were starting anyways. Yep. So, I mean, what the heck? I like the Commanders. I've said it all year. I like Atlanta too. Also, congratulations to Cordell Patterson for breaking the NFL kickoff return record,
Yeah.
which is nuts.
I would have
Um,
never guessed. I didn't. I always knew that Devin Hester had the combined record, but I
yeah,
never would have guessed who held the record before that Cordell Patterson
no,
just had broke it.
I don't know, it's nuts. Was it who was it? Josh Cribbs?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Josh Cribbs and a defensive back whose name I can't think of right now, but I just remember Josh Cribbs, and he was always so great on the video games, but in real life he just was dog shit. I would never have guessed he had the record.
yeah. That kick return for the touchdown was pretty cool too. With him like having the vision to find those holes. I mean, why wasn't he a running back the whole damn time? Why was he a receiver at all?
I don't know.
Like he has that vision. Like that's what's made him so good these last 2 years. Like I don't know why no other team like decided to put him back there. Now he's like what, like 12 years in the league.
Yeah.
He's one of the most exciting running backs.
He's on his fourth team, and he's finally like living up to all the potential that he had, and no other team could figure it out. And it's weird that it's the Atlanta Falcons who figured it out because they're Atlanta.
Right?
They don't figure out anything.
No. They figured out how to lose in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Done that twice.
But yeah, I am not. I will. Who's Atlanta playing? I'm sorry. Oh, the Commanders. The Commies. I'm taking the Commies for sure. The Commies might get Chase Young back this week. Their stud defensive lineman. So if that entire defensive line is together, Marcus Mariota is going to be dead. That defense the Commies have got is actually really scary in that front seven. The back end ain't so great, but that front seven is lights out.
I'm finding it very interesting, like how, like most of the divisions for each conference are almost mirroring each other. Like NFC and AFC East, all four teams in both divisions are over 500. Then you have the NFC and AFC South, kind of similar. I mean, the Titans have better records than Tampa Bay, but I mean, they're not. I don't think the Titans are any better than Tampa Bay.
I was gonna say they're a very similar team, though. Still,
NFC West, AFC West, kind of similar. Like, it's a little bit different in that division, but like, in my opinion, they have
you got the cream of the
runner.
crop, and then I mean the NFC West has got at least two teams in it, though.
I don't know. I'm worried about Seattle, but I'm just saying, like, yeah. We'll get to that, I guess. And speaking of the AFC West, the next game at noon on Sunday is the Denver Broncos, who are 3-6, traveling to the 2-7 Carolina Panthers. I think they're 2-7. That doesn't make any sense. Maybe, I don't know. It says 7-2 on my screen. I screwed something up.
Some got screwed up, but they are definitely not 7-2. We know that.
They might be 3-6. They're one of those. I don't know 100%. I don't know why I didn't update that because they're not 7-2. That's for sure. But they played a pretty good game against Baltimore last week. I mean, if they had an offense, they would have won that game. Like that defense shut down.
Carolina's the weirdest team.
Oh no! So I thought for a minute they might actually win that game. They got to the fourth quarter and it was still tied. And I'm like, oh man, maybe they're down by 3 or something. But like, yeah, it was close. I don't know. They might be one of those teams like the Bears that are good, like as soon as next year with some of the draft picks they have, or I don't know, but they're gonna have money. They're gonna need a quarterback. They're starting Sam Darnold this week.
Yeah, because PJ Walker got hurt, and I feel bad for PJ Walker. I really, because I'm like down for the XFL. I love the XFL. So when he came out of the XFL and the Panthers picked him up, I was rooting for him. He did absolute dog shit last year when he got to play a couple times, but this year he's been doing pretty well. Then he gets hurt again, and then we're back to the carousel of QBs in Carolina, because I can't believe they're back to Sam frickin' Darnold at this point for their starting QB. Like, I know the Browns have a lot of QB issues. They've always, they've gone through, 20-some QBs in the past, 15 years or something. But
yeah,
I don't think Cleveland has ever gone through this many quarterbacks in one season. Carolina can't keep a quarterback on the field for more than 2 weeks at a time right now. And Denver, what the Denver? Oh, there's dang it, I gotta throw a whistle in there.
I don't know, because they had that game won. All they needed was a first down. That's all they needed. And what did they do? Russell Wilson threw the ball out of bounds. He threw the ball away. Sorry. Here's another one. Like I was watching that game and and I'm not a Denver fan. I really don't care who wins between the Broncos and the Raiders. But watching Russell Wilson this year has been so frustrating. And that's why I wasn't on the bandwagon everyone else was on in Denver with them trading for him. I'm like, I want to see how he responds after his injury from last year. I want to see how he responds playing for a new team. And I'm glad I waited because he's been garbage. Who it was what was it, third and 6 maybe or something like that. Do something. Use your legs. You're Russell freaking Wilson. They shouldn't have lost that game. It's so infuriating to watch this guy play football. I don't even know who their backup is, but they should fucking start him. Sorry.
Man,
that's how mad I am about Russell Wilson.
The Denver Broncos and Carolina Panthers really get us fired up, apparently, and they're 2-7 and 3-6. We haven't got this heated about any good teams, but the bad teams, F-bombs galore.
I don't know who to pick in this game. Denver is favored by 2.5, but can they score on Carolina? They just released Melvin Gordon, but that's not even that big of a deal because he's been trash for them all year. I'm going with Carolina. I'm just doing it.
Okay. Just for that, because I don't know and or care either, I'm going to pick against the big cat, and that's probably going to go poorly for me, but I'll take the Denver Broncos, I guess. I don't know.
You're going against your theory, though.
Oh,
Denver just played in overtime.
Denver did just play in overtime. You know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm taking the Carolina Panthers. You talked me into it, Diesel. You talked me into my own theory.
Love it. All right, moving on to the final noon game this week, and we have the 7-3 Baltimore Ravens traveling to the 3-7 Jacksonville Jaguars. Baltimore is favored by 4-5, but you said about so many teams, what is Baltimore? Who is Baltimore? Are they good? I don't know. Don't know. How are they 7-3? I thought their record was worse than that, but that's not. This one's legit. I know for a fact they're 7-3.
No, that's 100% right. But who's Lamar Jackson? Lamar Jackson was balling out to begin this
First
year.
4 weeks, yeah,
balling, and now he can't even run the ball. I don't understand. I don't know who Baltimore is. I don't get it. Baltimore should be so much better than. I know they're 7-3, but they did just almost lose to the Carolina Panthers, and it was an embarrassing game. Home. Yeah, that game was 3-3 for 3.5 quarters. Carolina Panthers 3-3. You're the Baltimore Ravens. What are you doing? Oh man, who are you going with in this game?
I'm going with Jacksonville. I'm calling for the upset in this game. I just have a feeling. I don't know why, but I'm going with Jacksonville. They're due. They've been a couple close games that they've lost. I think they're a little better than a 3-7 record. I think they've had some hard times. I'm going Jacksonville this game.
I do love me some Jacksonville Jaguar action. I've bet on them many times this year. They're coming off their bye. It does feel like they are primed for an upset, but I'm not taking them because I know that Trevor Lawrence is going to do what Trevor Lawrence does in the fourth quarter. And he's probably going to throw a pick six. All right, I'm going to even call it. He's going to throw it to the linebacker, Queen. He's going to throw a pick six to Queen in the fourth quarter to seal the game. He's going to be going for a screen pass to ETN, and Queen's going to intercept and take it back. Now, if that happens, folks, I'm Nostradamus, and you guys should all really start listening to this podcast because I clearly know what I'm talking about.
Okay, well, I keep on messing up things here, records, because I see that for the next game we have at 3:05 on Sunday, the 6-3 Los Angeles Chargers against the not 8-1 Arizona Cardinals. They're 4-7. So I'm gonna fix that real fast. Okay, 4-7 Arizona Cardinals. Who did the Cardinals play last week? Why am I blanking on this? They played San Francisco in the Sunday night game. That game was a stinker.
That was a Monday night game because it was in Mexico City.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Either way, it was a stinker. I turned it on and was watching it for a little while and just I was done before halftime. I just knew what was going to happen, and I couldn't even like play on my phone and have it on in the background anymore. So yeah, Arizona is not good. Are the Chargers good? Are they 6-3 for real? That doesn't sound right.
No. They're
Oh
5-5.
man, Chargers are 5-5. Yes. Oh man, I don't know how I did this.
Clearly, you did not update a lot of records. You were doing this far too quickly, Diesel, when you were clicking through your spreadsheet.
I did this yesterday too, so I would have this ready and wouldn't have to worry about it this morning. So correction, the 5-5 the Chargers. I don't know. The Chargers aren't very good. The Chargers can win this game. That's not worth even talking about.
Nope. Especially if Kyler Murray is still day-to-day at this point. If Colt McCoy or whoever their other backup is starting for Arizona, they can't do anything on offense. And Los Angeles, I will never stop calling them the San Diego Chargers. I'm sorry, folks. It's just the way it is. The Chargers are definitely ascending at this time. They're getting healthier at the right time. And while Justin Herbert is definitely not taking the step that we all thought he would this year, I do still think he's a great quarterback, and I will take the great quarterback against either the second or third string quarterback in Arizona. So I got me the Chargers as well.
Okay, well, moving on to the next 305 game on Sunday. I just double checked to make sure these records are correct in there. We have the 3-7 Las Vegas Raiders traveling to the 6-4 Seattle Seahawks. Seattle's coming off their bye. Las Vegas just won a game in overtime. I'm going by everything that Chad's all about, and I'm going with Seattle in this game because, yeah, Las Vegas shouldn't have won last week. It shouldn't have happened. And I did love the little wave by Devontae Adams, because how do you leave Devontae Adams that wide open in overtime? How do you do that?
Yeah, I truly don't know. And what the Raiders are, besides the Broncos, and it's weird that they're in the same division, I think the biggest head scratcher of the year. On paper, that team should have been, this team should be lights out. Like, even with Renfro and Waller being on IR, just with the pieces they still have there. They have a top 10 offensive line altogether. They have freaking Devontae Adams. Josh Jacobs ain't no slouch, and Derek Carr is better than probably at least half the quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And that defense has a whole bunch of boys out there who can hunt. Like, it doesn't make any sense how bad the Raiders are, except for one factor, and that's Josh McDaniels, who can't be an NFL head coach. Love the guy dearly. One of the greatest offensive coordinators of all time, probably. Dude doesn't know how to head coach a team at all. It's apparent. It is obvious. He ran the Broncos into the ground, and he's now going to run the Raiders into the ground.
As I said in like week 2 or 3, whenever they played the first time, Josh McDaniels still losing games for the Broncos.
It's true. These are the facts. But yeah, I have not the Raiders. I have the Seattle Sea Chickens all day, every day. This is the Bronze Lock of the Week, folks, because I don't care how many points it gets to. I don't see the Raiders being even able to do anything. I think Kenneth Walker III is going to run all over them. And I don't know if the Raiders will get to touch the ball that much.
Moving on, 325 on Sunday. This was a potential Super Bowl matchup this year. Both these teams were in the Final Four last year. They have the 3-7 Los Angeles Rams traveling to the 8-2 Kansas City Chiefs. And I got Kansas City, and I don't think we need to talk about it because if you've been watching the Rams, you'll know why.
Yeah. You know I have sold every stock in the Rams. They went all in last year, and it worked. But when you go all in, that means it's going to go poorly after that because you have nothing to reload with, and they have nothing to reload with. And Kansas City makes me so mad. They're so effing good. I hate everything about them. I hate Patrick Mahomes, and it's just the same. I think it was Tom Grassi that I saw in one of his videos. He's like, you know, he was doing the Chiefs part, and he's like, if I wasn't a Chiefs fan, I'd hate him too. But I am a Chiefs fan, so I effing love him. Yep. And that's, I freaking hate Patrick Mahomes.
that was the every fan's reaction for Week 11. Love Tom Grassi. Shout out to the Packcast. It also helps that he's a Packers fan, so have a little more love for him because of that. But he lives in New York. He's a weird guy, but I love him. Anyways, yeah, I didn't mention that Kansas City was favored by 10, and
that's a lot of points, and I might lay the points on that game because I don't believe in the Rams at all. At all. They're garbage. They just lost to the Saints.
They did just lose to the Saints. And speaking of the Saints, 325 New Orleans 4-7 travel to the 6-4 San Francisco 49ers, and what a great transition by you, Chad. Just like it's like you knew, but you didn't, because I have it in front of me. So the Saints, I mean, they didn't look bad against the Rams. They're playing the Rams. They didn't look good either. I don't know why they don't use Taysom Hill more, and I've been saying that all year long, because they use them like 2 plays. It doesn't work in those 2 plays, and they just abandon it. It's like, but sometimes it does work, and it works like really, really well. Like, I would try to keep going to it because this division is very winnable when you're technically a game and a half behind the division leader. They only have 5 wins. I mean,
they're gonna freaking win this. Someone's gonna win this division with a losing record, aren't they? We're gonna have another losing record get into the freaking playoffs and get a home team.
I mean, with adding the 17th game, makes it more likely that happens. So we'll see. And then we're gonna also have everybody in from the NFC East.
Yeah, I'm excited. I really hope that happens. I know we're not talking about this game because I think it's a pretty obvious thing here.
Yeah.
We know who's going to win this game.
Yep. Christian McCaffrey all day.
Yeah.
And Debo.
The 49ers are by far the class of the NFC right now. If they don't make the Super Bowl at this point, then they effed up. All right? That team is stacked at every level. And right now, the greatest game that we could see for a Super Bowl, it is the 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. We all want to see it again, and I've been down. But 49ers are going to win this game. And the NFC South doesn't deserve a playoff spot. Are we ever going to talk about just reseeding the playoffs completely? Like, should we just get rid of divisions for, like, the playoffs, and it's just the top, 7 teams make it?
It'll never happen.
I know, but it should.
It'll never happen. It makes too much sense. You win your division, you get a home game in the playoffs. It's like the same thing in college basketball. You win your conference tournament, and you had a shitty year. Well, you get an automatic bid into the tourney, baby. So,
yeah.
I mean, but yeah, San Francisco, they're definitely my odds and favorite to win the NFC at this point of the season. But they're like the Rams. They went all in, and they don't have any draft picks anymore. They don't have any money. I don't know how they're going to sign both Debo and Christian McCaffrey and get a quarterback. I mean, Trey Lance is still there and he's on a rookie deal, but like, what happens if he's really good? How are you going to afford him when his contract comes up? Next year's not going to look so good for them. So hopefully they get that Lombardi Trophy this year, like the Rams, and they'll be sitting pretty, because now you can't say anything about the Rams because it worked for them. Yep. Like, they're paying the price for that, but they still have that shiny trophy sitting in their trophy case. Vikings can't say that. They have an empty trophy case. It's a bunch of spider webs. And they tried to go all in once too. How did that work out for them?
Not so good.
Anyways, moving on to the Sunday night game. It's the 4-7 Green Bay Packers traveling to the 9-1 Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia is only favored by 6.5. That's kind of low for the way the Packers have been playing. But I mean, to be fair, I guess most of the Packers' losses have been a one-possession game.
Yeah.
So I guess odds makers, I could see why they would keep it to under 7. I mean, I don't see the Packers winning this game. I don't. I know that Philly lost 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Football. They got smashed by the Commanders, which you owe me $20 for, because
You owe
I
you
didn't even need the
$20.
points. Thank you for the points, Chad.
No problem.
But I didn't need them.
You did not.
Anyways, and I know that they almost lost to the Jeff Saturday led Colts last week. They should have. I was rooting so hard for the Colts to pull that one off. Man, that was so close. Well, they won by 1 point. On paper, they should have smashed the Colts, and they didn't. So, like, by everything that you're seeing is the Eagles are on like a downtrend. Packers are just there. They could be playing spoiler in the NFC. I mean, they still have an outside shot at the playoffs, which, I mean, a lot of Packer fans around here are going crazy. If we went out, we're going to go 10-7, and we're going to get the last one. That. Sorry. There's a whistle again. We're not winning out, folks. Okay? We will be lucky if we beat the Bears. And I'm serious. I'm not even joking.
Be lucky if you beat the Lions the second time around.
They're going to lose a lot of close games. I think it'll be the same, but they're going to be playing from behind. They're going to be playing from behind this game, unless they get the ball first and score a touchdown. But after that, they're not beating the Eagles. They're not going to be able to stop A.J. Brown. They're not going to be able to stop Devontae Smith. They're not going to be able to stop the run game because they're going to be too worried about the pass. And that defense is just going to gobble them up. And Ndamukong Suh, first game with the Eagles this week, he looked like a beast. He looked like Ndamukong Suh from when he played for the Lions, and you already know he hates Aaron Rodgers.
I was just saying, you know how he feels about Aaron Rodgers.
So, I mean, and that's just one guy, and he's new. And, like, compared to all the other guys that have been there all year, that are all studs, like, I got Philadelphia winning this game, and I don't even think it will be a one-possession game. I have a feeling they're going to win by at least 2 touchdowns, if not by 17. So I got Philly.
Yeah, I got Philly. I think what happened this last week, that Colts game was a classic trap game. They were coming off a loss. I think kind of looking forward to this Sunday night game, as it's the primetime game on Sunday night. All eyes on them again. And though the Packers might be down, it's still an Aaron Rodgers-led team. So I think their eyes might have looked a little ahead and past the Colts. And they almost got bit, but they managed to pull it together and win that game. Yeah, I don't see the Packers winning this game at all. This is the get-right game for Philly to once again show that they are a Super Bowl contender. Because these past 2 weeks, they've really come back down to earth with everyone going, man, I don't know if you could even kind of hang with the 49ers. I see them coming out and firing everything off at the Packers and blowing them out. So, yeah, I got Philly.
Yeah, I mean, I did say, like, a lot of the same stuff when the Packers played Dallas, and I picked Dallas, and we all know how that game went, which was, like, it was nice. We didn't get to talk about it last week, so I want to say it was nice to see the Packers look like the Packers again for 1 week. That's what the Packers have looked like for the last, like, 15, 20 years. It was nice to see that they still have that in them, even if it was just for one game. And to, like, beat Vince Lombardi wannabe Mike McCarthy, like, the way they did. I mean, Mike McCarthy, like, I will say he is a good coach. He's bad at making big decisions. You go for that field goal. You take the points in overtime, and you put your defense that has the best defensive player in the league on it back out there to stop the team that can't score points.
Yeah. And you cover Christian Watson, and you're fine. Like, you win that game. You kick the field goal. You get the hell out of there.
But nope, he was coaching with his heart. He was coaching that game like it was the Super Bowl. Like I've seen Mike McCarthy coach a lot of games, and his body language, was a lot different than in a lot of games. Like in the first half, not even in the third quarter, he was all smiles, he was all excited, he was acting in ways that, like, Mike McCarthy doesn't usually act. But then fourth quarter came around and the Packers came back and tied it up, and he got all nervous, and then I couldn't believe they stopped him on fourth down, to be honest with you. But it was a good win. And then they couldn't, like, bring up Tom Grassi again. Like he said when the Packers in, couldn't even be happy for a week. Like, go to Thursday night, and that game sucked from the opening kickoff all the way to the end. Like, Packers didn't, like, show up at all. And you know what
Letting
else?
Derek Henry throw jump passes on you, you just hate to see it.
I am on the fire Matt LaFleur train. I really am. I don't think he's a good leader. I think 4 years is a good clip to decide, like, is this guy working out for you? I think that he's lost control of the locker room because there's guys that are like talking about like I don't know. There's just a lot of things. He can't control this team. I think they need to get rid of Gutekunst, and I think if they bring in a new GM, they should bring in a whole new coaching staff, and he should hire the head coach. I mean, but yeah, I just don't think Matt LaFleur is the guy. I like him, and I know he won 13 games his first 3 seasons, and like you might be like you're quick to judge. It's just like it's not about that. It's more about like what I'm seeing of how he's reacting to like this season and the culture of the locker room and everything that's going on that has like why they're losing. I think a lot of it comes down to some of his coaching style. Yeah. I just feel like I'm not saying a new coach is going to make it any better, but I just don't think Matt LaFleur's the guy.
I do completely agree. I think I've always thought that Matt LaFleur has looked a little over his head. I think that he could, with some time, be a really good head coach. I think he's still too young. I think he needs a few more years being an assistant, maybe go coach a college team for a while. Like, this stage I think is too big for him, and I know he won all those games, but as a non-Packer fan, I can remember how many of those games were super close games, and Aaron Rodgers won him those games in the last seconds. It wasn't his coaching that got them the win. It was Aaron Rodgers' arm doing something wild and spectacular.
Aaron Rodgers won 2 MVPs during those 13-win seasons. I think Matt LaFleur would have been better off starting with the team that had a young quarterback and coaching him up rather than going to a team that had the superstar quarterback, and it was never a good situation for a new head coach like that. He was never like, they were too close in age. I think Rodgers looked at McCarthy as more like a father figure when Matt LaFleur is like a buddy, and I think that's a problem, and I think that's another reason why like things need to change. Aaron Rodgers isn't going anywhere. He's still going to play for the Packers next year. There's too much money that'll be left on the table both sides if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play. I did read an interesting article though that if they trade him after June 1st, the cap hit is significantly less, but that's after the draft. So like everyone's going to already drafted their quarterbacks, so Aaron Rodgers will be the starting quarterback for the Packers next year. I fully expect them to trade Jordan Love in the offseason because why have him sit for a 4th season? He's not going to want to do that. He wasted his whole rookie contract. Like, you might get like something for him and someone's going to give him for cheap. Maybe he'll go to the Panthers and suck. Who knows? But yeah.
No, he's going to be the next quarterback for the Colts. You know the Colts love to take everyone else's backup quarterback and see what happens.
No, that's Geno Smith. We already talked about this. Well, anyways, we got one more game to talk about, and I don't think it'll take long. It's Monday Night Football. We have the 3-7 Pittsburgh Steelers at the 4-6-1 Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are favored by 2.5, and I'm taking. Oh man, I want to take Indianapolis, and I remember that T.J. Watt's healthy again, and yeah. He looked really good. Packers could have drafted him. They should have drafted him. But no, they traded out of the pick, and he was available. And it just for that reason, I'm going to Indianapolis. I don't know who to go with here. I like Jeff Saturday.
You can really
they're
tell.
They're playing for him. Matt Ryan has looked a lot better these last 2 weeks. What the hell?
He's Matty. He's not lukewarm water. He's just Matty slush right now. He's not Matty Ice. He's like Matty slush. He's trying.
Matty Sleet.
Yeah, there you go. Matty Sleet. Because, yeah, they're really trying for him, but you can see that they really front-loaded the schedule. Like, all those 3 Thursday games are so good, and then you look at the rest of the slate, and you're like, oh, that's why. Because they put all of them up front. But yeah, Jeez. I like Kenny Pickett. I like Najee Harris. And I like TJ Watt. I'm going to take Tomlin and the Steelers just to be different from you. I don't really have any strong convictions towards it because maybe Jeff Saturday can coach. Maybe Jim Irsay actually caught lightning in a bottle and knows what he's doing, and we're all idiots. But I'm still going to take the Steelers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to actually watch that game. I don't really have that much interest. If it were on Sunday, I'd obviously watch it because it'd be on Red Zone. But, like, going out of my way to watch it on Monday night, and, like, to even think, like, before the season started when they're getting the schedules together, oh, this looks like a good matchup. The Pittsburgh Steelers at the Indianapolis Colts. We got, like, at the beginning, they're thinking it's going to be Mitch Trubisky versus Matt Ryan as, like, your headlining quarterback matchup. It's like, yeah, I don't know why. Like, I mean, I understand why Green Bay and Philadelphia are on Sunday Night Football. Like,
yeah, that was supposed to be Jalen
hindsight
Hurts.
being
That is
2020
Jalen Hurts versus Aaron Rodgers, but
well, hindsight being 2020 is a bad idea. But like at the beginning of the season, everyone was picking Philadelphia to win that division. Green Bay was the favorite in the NFC. So put that game on Sunday Night Football for sure. I would rather see Baltimore and Jacksonville play on Monday night. I would tune into that game. But I don't know, Pittsburgh and Indianapolis, I just doesn't really do it for me.
well, Dancing with the Stars finale was this last week, so I do have my Monday nights open again. So I might peruse the game, but I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it for sure.
Yeah, or you can find a new trash reality show to watch and enjoy that too.
I, of course, could.
Anyways, that's all we got for this week. It's not as exciting on paper. Thanksgiving games, I think they did a bang-up job with the matchups there. My most exciting matchup for this week is definitely Atlanta at Washington, just because Atlanta games have been so much fun to watch this year, and lately so have Washington games. So, yeah,
I would agree with that. I think that if I had to pick my 3 most hyped for games this week that aren't the Patriots game, it would definitely be the Falcons and Commies. It would be the Jags and the Ravens, because I just don't know what teams are going to show up in that game, so it could be a wild one. And then really, I think on paper, the most excited game I'm for is for the first game on Thursday. That Bills and Lions game, like, who knows? Like, with the way the Lions have been playing and the way the Bills have been playing, like, maybe we get a 45-40 game or something like that. Like, we just get something absolutely astronomical.
I'm gonna put you on the spot right now.
Okay.
I want to know your top 3 in your like personal power rankings, because I think 1 and 2 are pretty interchangeable. But 3, who goes into the 3 spot?
Number 1, I hate to say it, but it has to be Kansas City. Just the way they've been playing, it's impossible not to say that. 2 has to be San Francisco, just with the way that offense is and that defense. And 3, even though they haven't looked great these past 2 weeks, I'm still high on the Eagles. I think that team has too many pieces on it, like offensively and defensively, and I think that NFC Championship game between the Eagles and 49ers is going to be a slugfest. So I would go Kansas City, San Francisco, Philadelphia.
I'll go Kansas City, Philadelphia, and probably San Francisco. It gets pretty hairy because Dallas is probably in the top 5, but then you still have that Packers loss. But then they just dominated against Minnesota, and the power rankings are very much, what did you do last week? So, like, part of me wants to put Dallas at 3 over San Francisco, but San Francisco is a stronger team. But you add Odell Beckham to Dallas, holy shit, we're going to have a fun end of the year.
I would definitely say Dallas is my 4th team. I think Dallas is a contender for sure. Remember when we talked about how weak the NFC was going to be this year, and out of our top 4, I just named 3 NFC teams and only 1 AFC team?
I mean, who had at this point in the season Miami with the number 2 seed in the AFC?
I'll tell you who didn't.
They had them leading their division.
It's
I mean, the Jets
wild.
and Patriots are at the bottom of this division, both 2 games over 500. Like, who called for this? Not me.
Nope.
Like, there's from top to bottom of that division, there's a 1-game difference, which that is crazy. The Patriots could win the division this year, and like, I reasonably, if they beat up on their teams in their division and win a game here, win a game there, that Packer win would have been really nice for them. Looking back now, they could realistically win this division still, which is crazy because everybody had the Patriots finishing last. And I know a lot of people are like, you're talking crazy, Diesel, but I don't think I am. I really think the Patriots have a really good defense, and like, I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl or anything like that, even winning a playoff game, but like, division games are important, and they just won a very important division game. So, just saying.
2-0 against the Jets, 0-1 against the Dolphins, and haven't played the Bills yet. But the Bills are 0-1 against both the Dolphins and the Jets. The division is wild, and the Patriots could very easily win the division on our division record alone because of who the Jets beat and that we beat the Jets twice.
Okay, well, I think we should wrap this up because we're going to be talking forever if we don't. So, yeah, so you can always give us you can follow me on Twitter at Diesel_VFTR if Twitter is still a thing by the time we release this podcast. You can follow Chad on Twitter at Chads_mind. Send your podcasts in to visionariesglobalmedia@gmail.com. We have a spot waiting specifically for you, and you will be heard on platforms such as SoundCloud, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podknife, and Podable. And that's really all there is to it. So any final thoughts before we end this thing?
Let's party!
Partying, and we want to wish all our American viewers and listeners a happy Thanksgiving, and we get 3 games for Thanksgiving this year like we have been the last few years, and we're going to be good. So for my partner, Chad, Cadillac on 22s too, if you know, you know.
You know.
And for what cat is that?
That's Bo.
For that's Bo and his butt. Bo's butt. Bo knows. I've been Diesel, and you know what? Go watch some football.
Bye.
This has been a Visionaries Global Media production. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.